And a good spiritual morning to you once again. I'm Father Cosmas.
I'm Presbytera Michelle.
Thanks for joining us today for a quick chat. And of course, our morning cup of coffee.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being with us. We hope you're having a wonderful day.
Absolutely. And this week, we're celebrating a huge saint. Yes. Actually, in the month of January, there's just tons.
It's loaded.
Yeah, it's loaded with tons of amazing saints and a lot of sort of desert fathers, what we would think of as ascetic desert fathers. Later in the month, Saint Ephrem, Saint Isaac, and then, of course, this week, Saint Anthony the Great, right? Celebrated every year on the 17th of January. And so we thought we would talk a little bit about Saint Anthony and, maybe
why
something
he's so great.
Yeah, what makes him so great? So many things.
Yeah, come on.
But thinking about Saint Anthony, he's this amazing desert father. So he lives out in the desert for decades in this little cave.
What is he, 3rd and 4th century? Right?
Yes.
200 to 300.
Third into the 4th century. Mm-hmm. 4th century is just this amazing century of the golden age of orthodoxy, of Christianity. And so we're thinking about St. Anthony living out this ascetic, we call it ascetic life, right? This life of spiritual struggle. Ascetic comes from askesis, a Greek word, which means spiritual exercise or spiritual struggle. It's usually translated as kind of austere. Right, to be ascetic, but that's where it's coming from. And he's a desert father, and I mean he's actually physically battling the demons.
Yeah,
like that's what he's known for. That he would battle the demons, and actually his spiritual children could hear. It was like the sound of distant warfare, like the sounds of arms, shields, and weapons clashing. They could hear that when he was by himself.
And then they would find him tattered and beaten, and right. I mean, it was
right. Yeah. Well, he would be that was one sense part when he was in a tomb and he was praying in the tombs, and the demons physically appeared and literally beat him. Yeah. Now I know that we can't conceive of these things.
No,
nowadays.
but there was
and
witnessing.
Then they found him and they took him to the local town wherever, and they nursed him back to health. And he wakes up and says, "Take me back. I've got to go back." And he goes back and he's beaten again. So there's this idea about spiritual warfare and spiritual struggle, and that shouldn't be scary for us. I mean, we should have an understanding that there are opposing forces, right?
We're on one team. We're all trying to get to heaven, right?
There are two teams.
There are two teams.
There's supposed to be two teams.
Just be honest.
Yeah. We're all supposed to be on the same team, by the way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't feel like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes it feels like we're on separate teams, but we're supposed to be on one team. And then there's another team. And so they're on the other team. Typically, we're so immature spiritually that our temptation, our spiritual battle, it's mental, right? It's so easy.
Yeah, we fight our thoughts.
Right. It's so easy for us to be distracted and to be led astray. And
to get mad like that.
Yes, to waste time. And I mean, the demons are having a field day with us. They're just sort of saying, this is easy. Every once in a while, someone comes along that moves above that level of temptation, and so the attack becomes a different attack. In St. Anthony's case, it became a physical attack.
Yeah.
But that's not like we have to worry about that.
We're not worthy of the attack.
No, you're not at that level. People say,
ready.
"Father, should I be afraid of that?" I said, "No.
Yeah.
The demon doesn't have to appear to you. Believe me, or me.
Yeah.
The demon does not have to appear to me. I'm never worthy to see a demon.
They're just playing games with us.
Yeah, the demons are there just to kind of, get around, stir up trouble and mess things up and pit people against each other.
It's helpful to know that you're part of a warfare, because some days you just feel like, why? Like, why is this happening?
Right, there are some rough days.
And your brain can kind of play games with you, and you're like, no, I'm in it. I'm a Christian. I'm in it. I'm headed towards heaven, and there's going to be opposition.
Right.
Like, that's just a very simple way of looking at it for me. That's how I can process it.
It should be that way. Yeah. It should be a very simplified way. We don't have to get into a very high theological understanding and try to, get into the minutia of what's happening. Very basic, right? We know that there's heaven. We know that there are forces trying to help us get to heaven. We would think of them as angels, saints, right? Trying to help us get to heaven. So it stands to reason that there are going to be fallen angels, right, which we call demons, or just fallen angels, that are just opposing us. They're trying to hinder us. As we try to take a step up, they're grabbing onto our coattails and pulling us down. They're whispering into our ear, "No, come on, you really believe that? Don't believe that. That's not really true. You can't prove that. Come on.
Yeah.
Think about yourself. Worry about yourself. Don't worry about them. Think about this. You're so great. Don't worry about that." And I can't believe they said that. That should make you upset. You have the right to yell at them. Like, there's that constant little voice kind of whispering all these terrible things that you wish you didn't do. I always think of St. Paul. I'm forgetting where that reference is.
Which one?
The things that I wish that I would do, I don't do.
Oh,
and that
yes.
which I, that sort of...
That
the
which
things
I oppose that I do.
Right.
Yeah,
the stuff that I want to do, I don't do it. And the stuff that I don't want to do, I do.
Every week.
Right.
Every week.
Every day, hour by hour. And
I think, Father, the hard thing too is that I think those of you who are in the spiritual journey, and when you take a moment to say, I'm going to do better at this, get ready. Because if you're not really doing anything, nobody's really bothering you. But as you're trying to ascend the hill, as you're trying to get closer to heaven, I always think of that guy who's running down the football field and he's got the ball and he's all excited. And then you don't see that some guy's coming from the side.
Pulling guard.
And he just takes his legs out from under him.
It's called the pulling guard.
Yeah, so you can have these analogies.
Or free safety.
Sports analogies or whatever you want to have to be ready.
And I do tell people that all the time, have your head on a swivel. In the spiritual life, just kind of pay attention. Crosses are given. We have our crosses. We have our struggles. If something goes well and we feel like, okay, now I've kind of moved past that. I feel like, okay, that cross has been taken from me. It's not being taken from you because now God wants you to just go party on a desert island somewhere. Yeah. It's because you're ready for a bigger one. And so one's coming back. He's getting.
Oh, it's like weightlifting, right? You got adding weights.
That's right. You've put on one plate, as we would say in weightlifting. They're 45 pounds. So you've put on one plate. So you're doing 135 and you're doing fine. Now he's going to take off the plate and put on 2 plates or something. Yeah. Don't get too comfortable with the empty bar. Just know that more weights are going to be put on there so that we can continue to grow in the spiritual life. You need more reps, more weights to develop into a better soldier spiritually. So that's one thing
huge
to think. But like you said, the reason that it's not too much of a difficulty for us is because we're so busy and so distracted by so much.
Yeah.
I mean, the demons, they've got it so much easier. There's a great book by C.S. Lewis called The Screwtape Letters. If you haven't read that, I would recommend that.
Wonderful author.
Take a look at that. C.S. Lewis is amazing. The Screwtape Letters. And it's basically a dialogue between a junior demon and a senior demon on how to tempt a guy, how to tempt people. And so you can see the mentality of trying to distract and trying to tempt. And so now we've got the demons have so much at their disposal that people never had to worry about.
Yeah, we hold it in our hand most of the time.
Right. They're like, I want to get him to stop thinking about God. The demons are on vacation.
Just start scrolling.
The demons aren't being paid by the hour anymore. They're on vacation, but they're just sort of, they're checking their phone. Oh, he's still on his phone. I'm good. Another margarita because he's just still on his phone. He's not thinking about God. He's not worrying about anything. He's streaming he's binging another show on Netflix. Don't worry about him. He's good.
Just one more episode, Father. Just one more episode.
Just one more. I just got to finish the season. Come on, just one more. Okay, I finished that show. Okay, now what show? Okay, another show. It's like we're constantly distracted with so much that it's not like we're out there doing evil things. We're just not thinking about.
We're just standing still.
We're not thinking about God. And so when you do that, the battle is not as intense. But then all of a sudden, you try to take a step forward and do something, even the smallest little thing. Well, I want to say a prayer. And people say, Father, why is it so hard for me to pray? All you said to do was say the Lord's Prayer in the morning. I said, yeah, isn't that hard? You've tried to take a step in the right direction, and all of a sudden, all the demons, their heads turned and said, wait a minute, where are you going?
Where you think you're moving to?
Okay, get him.
Yeah.
And you just got kind of, you get gang tackled. Yeah. And so it's kind of like that happens in the spiritual life a lot.
I think, too, that it's so silly. And when you start to be aware of it, your journey will begin, because all I have to do is want to pray, and then a song from the radio, pop, goes in my head. It's not a bad song. It's not some rap song. It's not something that I don't like. No. It's something that, so I've had to start changing what I use as my distraction, so it's a little bit more like user friendly. Can I say that? So it's not as bad.
And I don't listen to the radio anymore. People ask me if
because songs get stuck in your head.
I'm an earworm person.
Yeah.
I can get a song stuck in my head. And if I can wake up at 3 a.m. and boom, the song pops into my head. It's there. So I can't listen to the radio. All I listen to is chanting. If I listen to services, I'll listen to chanting, but I'm not a radio person.
Yeah. You've stopped all of that.
I can't. I never listen to the radio in my car. Yeah. I don't turn on the radio at all. I don't listen to music very much. Even if, something comes on with a TV show and it's got a song, I have to be careful. Like it'll get stuck in my ear and stuck in my head. And that's where the Jesus prayer is supposed to be going.
That's
what
right.
I want stuck. That's my earworm that I want stuck going 24/7.
Something else I got from St. Anthony's story that I've always loved. First of all, I cannot believe how long he lived, right? I think they said about 105 years. But there's this idea that the idea that we're all on the same team, and the idea that when you are on that team, that we're helping one another. So I pictured when the spiritual children of St. Anthony saw that he was hurt, they were there to help. They were there because they wanted not only his guidance, they wanted to be around someone holy.
Sure.
They wanted to learn from him. But there was this support. There was this idea that we're learning from him and he's struggling. So let's help him keep going because we want to keep learning from him. I think
there's a lot I could say about what you just said.
I think in the spiritual life, I feel there's those comments, right? We've been talking about New Year's resolutions and we were talking about going to the gym. And people sometimes say, and I'm not going to say it properly, but they equate when people won't go to church because they say people are judgmental or sinners or whatever. And they say, well, when you go to a gym, you don't expect everybody to be in great shape, right? People are going to the gym because they're trying to get in shape. Right. So you're trying to go to church to get closer to Christ, which means that you're not a saint. You're on the journey, like you're struggling. And I think that I see that in the world. I see that with friends, even outside of church. When you find people who get it, when you find people who are also on the journey towards Christ, you kind of want to be around them because you remind each other, yeah, we're on the same team. Give each other a break. We're on the same team. Hey, I read this book. You should read this book. I saw this video that's about faith or God. You want to strengthen that because the demons like to just let us, like we're at recess and somebody threw a ball at me. Somebody pulled my hair. Like we're children.
Right. We're very mature about that.
Yeah, we want to get away from that and say, you know what? Let's just keep focused. So I said, what did I say that made you think of?
Two things. Okay. I wanted to pick up with, and then we'll close.
Tag team.
Well, yeah, one, because I want to pick up on your gym analogy because I think it's great. Because on the one hand, like you said, you're going to the gym and you know that there's people there that are working out too. So you go to church, don't think, well, I'm not going to go to church because the people there aren't what? They're like you. They're sinners.
We're all the same.
No one wants to go to a gym full of bikini models and jacked bodybuilders.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Right? No one wants to go to that gym.
Nope.
People want to go to a gym where everyone's kind of covered up, they're in sweats, they're a little out of shape, and they're willing to work hard, and they're serious. Yeah. And then, so that's the one thing. So don't say, well, I'm not going to go to church because the people there, they're not nice. They're sinners. That's why they're going to church. That's why you should go to church. Yeah. No one wants, and you're not going to find a church like that's just full of saints. Churches are full of sinners. Sinners are everywhere. We're all sinners. On the other hand, when you go and work out, if you're going to be successful in working out and sustaining a workout, if you're going to go to the gym, you need training buddies. You need partners. You need someone to spot you, right? If you're really going to have gains, like we say when we work out, if you want good gains, you've got to go to failure. So if you're going to go to failure, you need someone there to help you lift the bar just that little bit before you can hook it in. And so you need 2-3 people together. If you can get 2-3 people together, then you go and work out together. Now you're jumping in and can I jump in and do a set? While I'm resting my 40 seconds, you do your set. And I'm going to encourage you and I'm going to spot you, make sure the bar doesn't fall on you, make sure there's no gym fails. Like we hate those YouTube videos of people just getting crushed by bars at the gym.
Sorry, I think they're funny.
Yeah, I know. But the reality is you need people to train with. And it's the same thing at the church.
Yes.
Because there is spiritual warfare. There are forces opposing us.
Yes.
We are on one team, and we do need people that kind of are like-minded with the same goals to sort of
and
say,
the same
hey,
struggles.
Let's go and let's work out together.
Yeah.
And at church, the same thing, and to have that person that when it's, I'm tired, I'm not sure that I'm going to go. And if I'm thinking about it, I know, well, if I don't go, I'm going to hear about it from so-and-so. Because we made a promise, the 3 or 4 or 5 families, that we're going to go and we're going to bring our kids, and our kids are going to see each other, and they want to see each other, and they want to go, and I want to see them, and we're supporting each other, we're encouraging each other, and because we're all on one team. Yeah. And that's an amazingly important thing to think about as we're trying to grow in the spiritual life and do that each and every day.
Amen.